All right guys, so we're back with the S13. Ended up changing out the fuel filter, and I also got the adapter to be able to put my oil pressure sensor in. I don't know if you guys could see it. It's like right there. So it's kind of like a T, to where I'm using the stock sensor, and then that goes into the adapter, and then the oil pressure switch for the gauge also goes into that adapter. But everything's all done. I also was able to get the gauges and all that finished. There it is. Gauges, radio, fan. There's the fan working. I just have to tidy up that little bit right there. Not too bad. I was checking what the ECU was, so that's where the ECU lives, and I had to take that off. But it runs now, so let's turn it on, and it starts right up. There are the gauges, and I got really good oil pressure. This gauge, so what they told me, I contacted Innovate to see why it always displays 120, and apparently that's the lowest that this gauge will read. So that was kind of weird, but the gauge does work. So once you get above 120, the gauge will start climbing, and then the battery voltage of course works. On this one I haven't hooked up the oil temperature yet. I'm gonna end up taking the oil pan off of the other engine that I had, and I'm gonna be putting the oil temp sensor on that oil pan because it already has a threaded fitting to be able to put a sensor in. So here we go. That's the oil pressure on a cold start. It's really good, and when it warms up, it's usually like I want to say 15 to 20 psi, so that's within spec. It's all good. I need to figure out why my speedometer doesn't work, so I don't know if it's something behind the cluster that might be off, or just the sensor at the trans or the diff. I'm not sure where it is on this car, so I have to look it up and see where it is, make sure it's plugged in. But other than that, it's running. I also raised the front a little bit. I think I might have raised it a little bit too much, but I'll lower it a little bit back down, because now it looks like it has a rear rake. The rear is a little bit lower than the front, so I'll probably end up lower. I raised it up like an inch, so I'll probably bring it back down like half an inch maybe. There's fuel pressure. And I was able to calibrate the fans. So the fan switch is right here, and I have it calibrated to come on at like 196, and then it'll shut off when it cools it down automatically. There is one thing, while I was pressing on the brakes, I noticed that there was a puddle of brake fluid down here, and I had my dad press on the brakes while I was looking for the leak. And the master cylinder is actually leaking right where it meets the brake booster. So now the fluid comes out through where it right here on the bottom, and I'm worried that it might have messed up the master, or not the master, the brake booster, because there's like a rubber diaphragm, and brake fluid likes to eat rubber up. But now I have to replace this master, and I'm gonna look inside the booster to see how bad it is. And if it is bad, I might have to replace the booster as well. I'm not sure how manual brakes are on this car, because I know Chase Base sells a kit for manual brakes. That while I was looking for a master, I saw his kit up. So I'm curious to see how this car would be with manual brakes, if it's like super stiff or if it's pretty good, because it's not that heavy of a car. So I'll have to do that. for now. The car is running. It definitely needs the alignment still, but I have to replace that brake booster before I'm able to do that alignment or take it over. There it is, guys. Stay tuned for more.